technical ability to understand what you've put on paper, to sign and date your notes. And it doesn't have to be a notebook. Preferably a notebook, but it doesn't have to be. But just imagine how it would be in this country today if we had first to file. Here you've come up with a great idea, you want to discuss it with some of your coworkers, and you worry whether about the person you're going to discuss it with, he may have every reason to be trusted, but at some point or other he may mention it, either in a telephone conversation to someone else to get information on, some more information on it, or at a party, who knows what. And then it travels from that point. Somebody hears about it that works for a corporation that could use it. The next thing you know, they have a meeting on it. And within 24 hours, believe me, it can happen in 24 hours, they can file for a patent while you're still thinking about it. And to give you one example of how this happened, going back many, many years, a professor at one of our universities came up with the concept of fluorescence. And he published his ideas in a publication. Within 24 hours, General Electric and Westinghouse filed their own patents for the fluorescent light. Within 24 hours. I can just imagine what it would be like if we had a first-to-file system here. We suddenly shut down, we don't talk to people about our ideas, everything, and universities will suffer terribly. Many of our universities gain substantial income and billions of dollars from licensing technology, and it helps them continue. So what I'm really getting across here is that the first-to-file system, it may be good for foreign companies, but not for this country. There is a movement on now in Washington to push that. It's temporarily on the shelf. I'm hoping it, whenever it comes up, it will be defeated. There are other aspects to what they're trying to push on us now to change our patent system, and I can discuss them. And basically, there's a rule known as prior user rights. What this rule is that, oh, by the way, and first to file under the system, all these under harmonization. If somebody hears about your idea and then transmits it by fax or wire to Timbuktu, and it's published in a local newspaper, nobody knows about this. There it is in Timbuktu. What they're trying to push is that could invalidate your right to a patent. If a corporation hears about it and decides to take notes and have their people take notes on it, or they start a project, they don't have to get very far. They call that prior user rights. What that really means is that they've thought of it during the interim, that you've thought of it and gotten your patent, or let's say before that time, before you file for your patent. That's what it is. And then they have prior user rights, and they don't have to pay royalties or license the invention. What I'd like to do at this point is to give you a brief description of what a patent is all about. And I'd like to get across the concept that if any of you become inventors or invent something, no reason in the world why, with a little study of the process, you can't become a do-it-yourselfer. I've done this now for 45 years. I took a course in graduate school at NYU in 1949 in patents and their management. And as a result of that course, I started to write my own patent applications. And since that time, I probably have written about 700 or 800 patent applications and gotten somewhere in the range of 500 patents. I don't even know the number. With my foreign and U.S. patents, it's over 500. Well, this is what a patent is. It's a grant by the government to the inventor, to the owner of the patent. Quite often, the owner of the patent is a corporation, if you work for a corporation. And it's turned into a very expensive procedure for the individual. When I started in 1949, it cost me $30 to file for a patent. I did my own drawings. I still do my own drawings. And wrote up the patent specification and everything else, the claims. It was a little rough at first because I didn't have the experience. But I picked it up over the years, and the examiners in the patent office, when I go down to see them, they were very cooperative. And if you go to a patent attorney today, I'm not telling you not to go to a patent attorney. They certainly, many of them are skilled, and there are a certain number of them that are very good at it. You have to be very careful about choosing a patent attorney. But from what I know, it will run you anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 or $15,000 to get a patent today. And the fees are horrendous. I mean, from what was $30 to file and $30 to issue just 20, 25 years ago, and we're talking about several $100s to file and $500, $600, $700 to issue, depending on how many claims you have in the patent. So it can be very expensive. Then the attorney will come along and probably charge you $1,000 or more to draw up the patent for you. And by the time he prosecutes it, it's another $1,000 or $2,000. When you add it all up, it's too much for the average person. If you have the money, by all means do it. If you want to do it yourself, it'll take time to learn how to do it, and I certainly advise it. Anybody who's going to invent more than one, attempt to get more than one patent, do it yourself. It's an experience. I know you can do it. Your training at college and in technology, electrical engineering will certainly be a great help to you. What do we have in a patent? We have a series of drawings. They're not always necessary. There are some patents that are granted without drawings if the description is sufficient to enable a man skilled in the art to practice the invention. I'll start out with a simple one. This is a patent that I received last fall. And it's for a drug unit, a pill that you would take to alleviate problems in the lower intestine. We don't have too many drugs at the present moment such as that would coat the lower intestine, protect if you have an ulcerated lower intestine or colitis. This particular pill would be useful in protecting you against roughage and acid, etc., in the lower intestine. I have a company that's looking into it right now, and basically what it is the core of this particular drug unit is a material known as caraphate or sucralfate. It's a compound, an inert compound that has the ability to adhere to the intestinal wall for a while and to protect. For example, it's used now against ulcers of the stomach and used against ulcers in the upper intestine, but it hasn't been used in the lower intestine. So what I patented here was a way to maintain it intact until it gets to the lower intestine. It's timed at that point to release. Very simple idea. I was able to patent it, and I hope someday it'll be on the market. I'll pass this.
From the time that it usually has on there the filing date, I was just curious.
Well, filing date on this particular patent?
Yeah.
Just last November.
No, but I mean filed and then issued.
Oh, when it was, I'm sorry, it was issued in November. It was filed in 1991. And it came out of another application that was filed in 1989. It took me a second time around to get this patent. Sometimes you run into a lot of opposition, or you write claims which are not allowed, and next thing you know, you get a final act.